Alexander Isak absence explained as Liverpool target misses Newcastle United versus Celtic friendly. It has been revealed why Alexander Isak missed Newcastle United's friendly against Celtic on Saturday afternoon. The 25-year-old striker was heavily linked with a move to Anfield before Liverpool turned their attention to Hugo Ekitike. According to our colleagues at the Evening Chronicle, Isak, along with Joelinton, were merely rested for the preseason clash at Celtic Park as Eddie Howe looks to carefully manage his players' minutes. The former has been in training as planned this week, while the latter has recently returned from a knee injury. Later this month, the Magpies will travel to Asia to step up their preparations ahead of the new campaign. First, Newcastle will lock horns with Arsenal in Singapore before facing Team K-League and Tottenham Hotspur in South Korea. Upon their return to the United Kingdom, House side will host Espanyol and Atletico Madrid at St. James Park before kick-starting their Premier League season at Villa Park the following week. Fortunately for Howe, and rather unfortunately for Liverpool, Isak looks set to stay put this summer. The Echo understands that the Sweden international was once regarded as a leading target for the Reds as they stepped up attempts to bolster their attacking options. Liverpool had long been admirers of Isak following his impressive performances in the Premier League. Despite the Reds' eagerness to wrap up a deal, the Magpies were insistent that Isak was not for sale. While Arne Slot and Eddie Howe locked horns, Newcastle had opened bidding for Ekitike, who was another forward towards the top of the Reds' shortlist. The Echo understands that the Magpies had an offer worth almost €80 million, £69.4 million, rejected by Eintracht Frankfurt for the 23-year-old, who had been priced at €100 million, £85 million. With Isak set to stay at St. James Park, Liverpool have set their sights on Ekitike. It's understood that the Premier League champions have recently opened talks with Eintracht Frankfurt over a deal for the Frenchman. The Reds have already agreed personal terms with Ekitike over a long-term contract. Liverpool could lean on Slot to get a deal over the line, having already wooed Florian Wirtz this summer. Speaking to Der Spiegel, as quoted by Bild and TalkSport, following the former Bayer Leverkusen star's record-breaking transfer, Wirtz's dad, Hans Joachim, said, "Arne Slot has impressed Florian on the pitch. He's also a very pleasant person. Florian's best coaches have always been those who gave him plenty of freedom. And those with the greatest empathy have also reached Florian. He finds the game in England interesting because it thrives on pace and dynamism." Arne Slot presented his playing philosophy, the team tactics in possession and pressing, and how Florian can develop his strengths in these areas. Liverpool set to repeat incredible transfer plan as Hugo Ekitike talks continue. Liverpool are looking to sign their third player from the Bundesliga this summer in Hugo Ekitike. Liverpool supporters could be forgiven for cheekily querying whether Jörg Schmadtke has returned to the club as they once again go shopping in the Bundesliga. The 61-year-old was coaxed out of retirement to serve as the Reds' interim sporting director in the summer of 2023. Having spent his entire playing, coaching, and director career in Germany prior to his switch to Anfield, his native market was one that he knew like the back of his hand. Sure enough, Liverpool wasted no time in putting him to work in acquiring their desired transfer markets from his homeland. After Julian Ward's last act in the role was finalizing the signing of Alexis Mac Allister, the Reds completed a treble swoop on the Bundesliga under Schmadtke's watch. Dominik Szoboszlai arrived in a £60 million deal from RB Leipzig, before Liverpool completed the left-field signing of Wataru Endo in a £16.2 million from VfB Stuttgart to solve their number 6 woes. They would then complete their business by landing longtime target Ryan Gravenberch from Bayern Munich in a £40 million deal. That would be the limit of Schmadtke's incoming transfer activity, with the German confirmed to have left the club towards the end of the subsequent January transfer window. Richard Hughes would then be appointed the following summer, and while he oversaw a quiet first transfer window, it is a very different story for the Scot 12 months on. Now 18 months on from Schmadtke's Anfield exit, and Liverpool are active in the Bundesliga market once again. The Reds are in talks to sign Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt, having already agreed personal terms with the striker. Should they conclude a deal, he will become Liverpool's third signing from Germany already this summer after the arrivals of Jeremy Frimpong, £29.5 million, and Florian Wirtz, £116 million, from Bayer Leverkusen. Given that the Reds' last shopping spree in Germany ultimately produced a midfield that would win Arne Slot's side the Premier League title, Liverpool will be hoping for similar success this time around. And there is perhaps a good reason why they have turned to Germany again, with it actually proving to be a fruitful market for them repeatedly over the past decade. Ekitike is set to become the Reds' 57th permanent senior signing since the summer of 2014. From such a total, Liverpool have shopped most frequently from Premier League and Bundesliga sides. Ekitike will be the 15th arrival from Germany during this time period, going once again level with the English top flight following Milos Kerkez's signing last month. With the striker, the Reds could put together a starting 11 containing 7 players who joined the club from the Bundesliga. 6 of their last 11 signings have arrived from Germany in their incoming striker, Wirtz, Frimpong, Soboslai, Endo and Gravenberch, while they also landed Ibrahima Konate in a £36 million deal from RB Leipzig in the summer of 2021. While the France international could well leave the club on a free transfer next summer, there is no debate that he has been a resounding success during his time at Anfield. Prior to the centre-back, Liverpool also snapped up Thiago Alcantara and Naby Keita in the summers of 2020 and 2018 respectively. The Spaniard joined in a £25 million deal from Bayern Munich, while the Reds spent £52.75 million on the Guinean 2 years prior. While both would be plagued by injury problems during their time at Anfield before leaving at the end of their contracts, they also proved their worth and showed their quality when fit under Jurgen Klopp's stewardship. Keita won the Premier League, Champions League, FIFA Club World Cup, FA Cup and League Cup and was often turned to in the biggest of games by his manager. And while Thiago was limited to just the FA Cup, he too was a favorite of both Klopp and supporters when available. In Klopp's first summer transfer window in 2016, Liverpool brought in 4 players from the Bundesliga. Loris Karius would admittedly flop, and is best remembered for his costly, calamitous showing in the 2018 Champions League final, while veteran goalkeeper Alex Manninger never made an appearance for the club. But Joel Matip established himself as a modern Reds legend, winning every major honor with the club, while Ragnar Klavan was a popular squad player. Meanwhile, in the summers of 2014 and 2015 Liverpool brought in Emre Can and Roberto Firmino respectively. The German was first choice in the Reds midfield despite his tender age for the majority of his 4-year stint, while the Brazilian would become one of the club's best Premier League legends as he formed a deadly attacking triumvirate with Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane. He too won every major honor as he scored 111 goals and provided 72 assists during 8 years at Anfield. Prior to this summer, Liverpool had spent £277.9 million on their last 12 signings from the Bundesliga over the past decade. With Wirtz, Ekitike and Frimpong, such a total will reach roughly £500 million after this latest £225 million splurge on Germany. The Bundesliga market is one the Reds trust and has served them well, with a plethora of players successfully making the step up to Anfield and adjusting well to Premier League football. If the trio go to have the same impact as some of the names that went before them, it will once again be money well spent by Liverpool. Thierry Henry verdict speaks volumes as Hugo Ekitike answers Liverpool question. In the latest Blood Red column, Ian Doyle looks at Liverpool's pursuit of Hugo Ekitike and why the Reds are chasing his signature. Ian Doyle has covered Liverpool for more than 20 years, following them across Europe in multiple Champions League and Europa League finals, and as far afield as Thailand, Singapore, the United States, Hong Kong and Qatar, and has reported on the Reds winning every major honor. He previously also covered Everton for 18 years and followed England, reporting on the European Championships and World Cup final. Once had to tell Jude Law he does not drive a Mini. The waiting game is now over, the speculation becoming actual fact. And soon there will be a much clearer picture as to who will be spearheading the Liverpool attack next season. This has been a week in which ruminations behind the scenes among recruitment teams at the Reds and beyond were finally backed up by actions as the intrigue over 2 of Europe's most in-demand strikers rocketed up the agenda. Sparked by Newcastle United's failed attempt to sign Hugo Ekitike, Liverpool are now the strong favourites and preferred choice of the 23-year-old Frenchman, with discussions ongoing over thrashing out a deal with Eintracht Frankfurt worth in excess of £70 million. For all the talk of it, being a power play or smokescreen from the Reds to prompt Alexander Isak to agitate for a move away from Newcastle. That Liverpool have progressed so far down the road with the Ekitike deal suggests that appears unlikely. Ekitike is the man they want at least most immediately. Certainly, while yet to make the breakthrough into the French senior national team, he scored a hat-trick for the under-21s against England in a friendly in March. Ekitike's stock has risen considerably since moving to Frankfurt 18 months ago after a frustrating spell at Paris Saint-Germain, who he joined after making waves at Reims. The forward was key to Frankfurt's run to the Europa League quarterfinals, scoring in the elimination to eventual winners Tottenham Hotspur, and helped them to only a second Champions League qualification. But the finished article he is not. Consider these words from Micah Richards, speaking this week on the Rest is Football podcast. In terms of Ekitike, I've spoken to Thierry Henry about him a lot, said Richards. He says he's not a frustrating player, but one minute he looks amazing and the next minute he does not do the basics very well. He said if he gets it right and improves, then his ceiling could be very, very high. Indeed, there has been concern among some Liverpool supporters that, entering the closing stages of last season, only one player from Europe's top 5 leagues had underperformed to their XG, expected goals metric, more than Ekitike. That, though, was later put into the context he still finished in the top 5 Bundesliga goalscorers for the season, the top 8 for assists, and the player with the most attempted shots. Ekitike and club record Liverpool signing Florian Wirtz were among those to have struck the woodwork the most times. And Ekitike is outperforming Isak at the same age, when the latter had just finished his time at Real Sociedad, and was on his way to Newcastle. So continues the trend of Liverpool looking to the Bundesliga following the capture of Bayer Leverkusen duo Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong already this summer. And the last 3 signings made by Jurgen Klopp were from Germany: Dominik Szoboszlai, Wataru Endo and Ryan Gravenberch. But should Ekitike make the move to Liverpool, he will be hoping to buck a number of trends. Not least the relative lack of success by French players who have moved to Anfield. A total of 18 players from the country have featured for the Reds' first team, more than half of which were brought in during the reign of former France national team boss Gerard Houllier. Only 2, though, reached a century of appearances: Jimmy Traoré, who starred under Houllier and Rafa Benitez, and current centre-back Ibrahima Konate. Djibril Cissé has been the most successful French forward, scoring 24 goals in 79 games and winning the Champions League, UEFA Super Cup and FA Cup, scoring in each final. Otherwise, the pickings are somewhat slim, save an honourable but all too brief loan spell for Nicolas Anelka in 2002. At least the big-money arrival of Wirtz earlier in the summer will take the heat off Ekitike should his big-money arrival be confirmed. The experiences of Darwin Núñez and earlier Andy Carroll are evidence of how a record tag can affect the perception of a Liverpool forward. But having romped to the Premier League title ostensibly without a regular recognized central striker, Liverpool are now very much posed to recruit from a position of strength. Ekitike, it seems, is being deemed the answer to the biggest issue for the Reds last season. Thanks for watching. Like and comment and subscribe.